we go?
It's, I put it on the agenda, but I didn't
You
pick
pull
the
it up.
flag.
We can, do you wanna cross it? I mean, there's no flag, so.
Do I have internet?
Yeah.
I don't think there's
I could
any
probably
car service.
Look, watch me go.
She's got it. There you go. All right.
With the internet, you can do
There.
anything.
Wait, I haven't called it to order.
Okay.
Gosh, what are you waiting for? All right, I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:37. First business and pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Correspondence, visitors, public comments. I don't see anyone.
I don't see anyone now.
Okay. Any changes to the agenda?
Not from my perspective.
I do want to make sure that Rennick is here for number 6.
Yeah.
So can we flip flop 6 and 7?
Absolutely.
So the next step would be approval of the minutes from June 17th. Anyone want to make a motion to approve?
Is that Tracy?
Yes. I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. So, business office.
Warrants, I think it's first.
Do we have
Do you have them?
I do, but they're in the drive also.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
don't have a computer.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Kind of.
I don't know if I can
Feelings
see it, it's dark over here.
Want my flashlight?
Yeah.
Now that, there you
I
go.
can see that now, they want to finance committee meeting for the flash.
For the month of June, for the month of June, we have accounts payable at $1,818,726.93. Payroll checks, $60,924.63. Payroll other disbursements, $1,825,580.98. Payroll deductions of $179,076.63 for a total of $3,884,309.17.
Can I get a motion to approve the warrants? Second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Any nays? Or abstentions? Still you, Laura, tax anticipation note?
Yes. Also in the drive, I think Julie's making it so I can share my screen, but I can, it's not anything new, you guys have, most of you have done this before. We've solicited bids for a tax anticipation note from 4 different banks, People's Trust Company, Community Bank, Northfield Bank, and Union Bank. Union Bank's the one that we've been with for the last couple of years. None of the other banks were able to provide us with a proposal for the amount of money that we need to borrow. And none of them were, other than Union Bank, were willing to give us a reinvestment option, which has worked well for us. Last year, we made almost $600,000 in our reinvestment option, that's net. And so the only bid that we received was from Union Bank. In the drive, they did offer us just a straight borrowing, but the reinvestment option would be obviously the one that I would recommend. The reinvestment option, their estimate is that we'll make about $115,000. It was $113,000, as opposed to if we just went with the straight borrowing, we would end up paying almost $90,000 in interest. I anticipate that we will probably make more than the $115,000 in interest. We try to keep our balance as high as we possibly can. But that's based on a cash flow, just kind of conservative. So the rate, I left my glasses at the office. The rate for the tax anticipation piece would be 3.7, and then the investment rate, rate on the investment account would be 4.15, so a difference of 0.45%. But they also will offer us 3.75 on our operating account that's not in the sweep, which is higher than any bank's gonna give us on our, it's a couple $100,000, but that's another perk that they're offering. So I would recommend that we accept the offer from Union Bank.
Is the operating account like a sweep account?
Yeah.
So then we're looking for a motion to accept the bid from Union? Yep. Okay.
For the tax anticipation note with a reinvestment option.
I'll make that one.
Any second? Any discussion?
Laura, do you know, are other districts doing this or?
Some are afraid of the arbitrage situation, which is, there's a certain amount of money based on your cash flow that you can earn as a school district or a nonprofit or a school, municipal-like entity. I have investigated that very heavily with lawyers in the past, and as long as our cash flow and how we believe is limited to the amount of money that we're going to be earning, then we're perfectly fine to be making money off of the investment. And there's no risk. Obviously that would be the other piece. We have to invest in something that has no risk.
The government's gotten into the arbitrage protection business the last 20 years. It's not as good. Arbitrage in traditional grade is not great anymore. It's okay. So I think what we're doing is.
Anyone else? All those in favor of accepting the bid for the tax anticipation note, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
I abstain.
Can I ask who seconded the,
Tracy.
thank you. No, the warrants. Who seconded the warrants?
Oh, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't remember signing.
Next up is the Babcock Building renovation lease.
You should be able to share.
I should have to share now. So this is a portion of the funding that we needed to secure for the Babcock renovation. We are working with Municipal Leasing Company. It's the same leasing company that we were working through for the lighting project. That's our most recent lease. Actually, no, technology. We did a technology lease most recently. But the lease amount is actually going to be $6 million. That's in line with what we were projecting to need when we were forecasting for the projects for the upcoming year. Basically, we need to secure a $2,000 down payment first to EEI for the project, and then we're able to secure this funding. So that's just sort of why you see the $8 million there. The rate came down a little bit from last estimate that they gave us. We were over 5% before. We're at 4.89 now, which is not wonderful, but it still puts our annual payment at $772. We had budgeted $780 in our most recent, so we're still within line of where we wanted to be. So basically, I just need a motion to approve this lease in the amount of $6 million with an annual payment of $772,882.09 at a rate of 4.89, so that we can pay for the project that's halfway done.
I'll make the motion.
Any second?
Also,
Any discussion?
The only thing I forgot to mention is $950 fee for processing that will be processed. Documentation and commitment fee of $950, an escrow fee of $650, so a total of $1,600 above and beyond that we have to pay from the city.
1,600?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor of moving forward with the lease, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any nays? I did that backwards, but you know what I mean.
you make sure we're
For both of those last items, there will be DocuSign documents that I'm gonna need a majority or all of the board to sign depending on what I don't have the documents yet, but you can expect that and I'll send out an email so you know it's legit when you're receiving those.
And then back to you for the wastewater issue.
Peter, do you want me to do the wastewater issue or do you?
You can explain it and you can chip in.
Okay, so I'll just keep it brief and then you can ask questions, I guess. During excavation work in the parking lot in the Babcock building, it was realized water entered the building at a certain point after the excavation started in the boiler room where we're going to be putting the new boilers. That prompted more further investigation and further digging in the area of the Babcock parking lot. Basically, the wastewater system was not designed properly. The pipes are too small. Some of it has failed. The manholes have failed. There's debris or sediment getting into the manholes. We are only allowed to, given our timeline and given our where we are with the budget, yeah, we don't have time to get permitting or anything to change the system. What we can do though is correct the system as it stands right now with very small changes. You're allowed to do that without avoiding the 2-year plus permitting process. So we worked with EEI, the engineers, Minosh is the excavation company that's there for a couple days. I have to give John kudos. We originally thought this could be up to a $400,000 or $500,000 fix. It's not. EEI has agreed to cost share in some of the fix as well. But basically we're looking to replace all the piping that's there, make sure it's pitched properly. Can't really increase the size. It doesn't, it's the width, yeah, the size of the piping. It doesn't completely correct the issue because to completely correct the issue with the poor design, we would actually have to redirect the water from the roof, which is also going into this system along with the septic water and all of that. So it's not a perfect fix, but to do that, you're talking like another $9 million project and we don't have time for that. So this is the best proposal for where we are right now, and it will give us a fairly good chance of not having this have an issue like this again. But with these like catastrophic or these awful storms that we're having, we don't really know, right? So we're doing the best that we can, but basically the total cost, would be $139,191.78, but EEI is agreeing to absorb everything but $50,000 of that. They've done a bunch of analysis, John with his team, and they think that they're comfortable taking that part of the profit, or that part of it out of their profit, and they'll make out bottom line.
Now, is that above and beyond what we had budgeted?
The $50,000 would be, yeah.
So Laura, what happens, I mean, if this solution fails, what happens? Because we're putting a lot of money into this renovation and this project, so where's this water gonna go? Into the school, into this new, like where would that go?
So we're doing everything we can in the boiler room to keep the equipment as far off the ground as possible, so if it does happen, it won't cause any damage. We're also talking about putting some kind of an alarm or pumping station in there, so at least that we'll know, because they might go in there once a day, they might not. If it happened at night, they might not know. So it could have happened before and we might not have noticed it. But the things that we're doing, if the system has only had this issue one time that we know of, the things that we're doing should definitely help.
Catch it or?
Yeah, they should help move the water, but it's not, if you were to put that system in now, or if you were to handle this water now, this wastewater now, this would not be the system that would be designed. The systems would be completely separate. So, yeah, it's being able to solve this to the extent that we are in the timeline that we are working under is remarkable, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
the way it's set up now.
Can I interrupt? Should we have a motion before we go into discussion? Okay, so Don, second?
I'll second.
Which one? Who made or win?
Peter first.
Peter won.
All right, discuss.
So I know they said it's obviously possible that they could have had backup before, but I find it unlikely
yeah, it's unlikely.
that they would have. I think at some point they would have seen it, right? Or they had seen signs of it.
It would have been
So-
spillage too, because the
Yeah, but
building would have been full of people.
So what happened in this case is, by digging it up, and digging up the parking lot, we disturbed it, right? And then we got torrential rain on the 3rd, and that's when we got stuff back in there. And and that's when they realized that it wasn't pitched right. It might have been at one time, but the stuff moving, he said the pipes were like this. They got cracks in them, we're getting sand and everything else in there. So a lot of things went on. So no, they're not correcting it and changing it because we can, but they are putting in a bigger diameter pipe which will hold and move more water, and it will be new pipe and it'll be sealed back up. And thinking that we didn't have major problems with this line before. There's no guarantees, obviously. We could have an issue, but there's no reason to think we're going to have any more issues than we had before.
Is it something that the facilities committee is going to have on your long-term plan to do a bigger, I mean, that's a huge project, but I'm also, to Tracy's
I don't see
point,
us
kind of
doing
terrified.
anything unless there's a failure.
Okay,
And there's also,
I
they
agree.
talked about another property down the road that needs to fix a culvert.
There's some larger stormwater problems in
there's
the area
bigger
also
issues.
above and beyond what we're handling right now,
so,
but
okay.
I
I don't
agree
think it's affecting this particular issue, but the whole area has issues.
But for the price tag of what this would involve and the timeline that it would take to do it,
Yeah.
I agree with Peter that it would be something where we would have to have a known major issue before it would be something that people would
Probably
probably
you'd be
consider.
rebuilding the school for some purpose, and then you do it then, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you know this area, if you've ever been over there, there are issues. In fact, some of the area is wetlands, I believe, that we all shot all along the barrage and the next house. We heard more about it last night, but many years ago there were issues when I was right on the board. And it really is more than a school issue. But usually what happens, people look at problems and say, oh, if we can involve the school, they have money. You know how that is, you go work in villages and towns. So I agree with Peter, I think we solved it. One of the things that John Brown told us, and if you aren't familiar with how these work, there's usually what they call a loop around your connections. And this one was built without any
It failed.
body, but chances are they didn't. So what that allows to do as soil moves, as heavy rains, rain, gravel, but mainly sand is it. So what you're doing is you're not moving the water like you should. And that will create other problems with blockage. I felt real comfortable with John's explanation of what they're gonna do. And if it's put in properly and sealed properly, I think it'll work.
So then we're voting to move forward with the fix.
With you're voting, basically what I need a motion to approve is a $50,000 change order. The change order's already been issued from EEI to Minaj, and then we need to issue a change order for the $50,000.
Okay, well, we've got Don, Peter, first, second that. So, any,
We discussed it for over an hour last night. Asked John, Jason, Laura, through lots of questions.
yeah.
So we're not violating any state permits or anything like that. So, I mean, I think we felt comfortable with the proposal.
I actually felt lucky.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I like the idea that it's a bigger pipe, so that in itself should be helpful.
And I said this last night, and I know you're in a hurry, but this is another reason why, or an example of a reason why you work with a company like EEI. A different company could have blamed it on someone else, they could have covered it up, they could have not cost shared, and also their relationship with the vendors that they have and their their level of, you know, the level of projects that they do allows these companies to want to please them and fix the issue as fast as possible. If we were on our own or with a smaller contractor, that would not have been happened and we would have delayed our project. So it's noteworthy, you know.
Yeah, and I think as a board member, I'd like to extend my gratitude to EI for this, because that's
Not chump change.
it feels
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Like, as Donna said, you feel lucky right now.
Yeah.
It could have cost a lot more. So,
Any other discussion?
The project overall is looking good, right, Laura? It's all damaged.
Knock on wood, everything else is great.
So all those in favor of doing the additional spend to fix the wastewater issue, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? All right, passes 9-0.
The only other thing, Megan, sorry, is Julie Rivers, our treasurer, is going to be away next week unexpectedly. She sent me an email and called me today. She's going to the Cape. And she's really excited, but she didn't want to not sign checks, but I will be signing checks next week based on your approval. And I always give you a heads up if that's what's gonna happen, so I will be signing them based on your approval next week.
Do you want a motion?
I have signatory, yeah. I already have it, yeah. I just don't like
But she
do it without.
notifies you when it's gonna happen.
All right. So Rennick, we flip-flopped 6 and 7 because I wanted to make sure you were here for.
Oh, I thought I timed it perfectly.
No, I'm letting you get out of
You
it.
ruined my plan.
So, do we want to flip-flop or do we want to just go to professional hires and then do
Let's
the
just do the
discussion?
professional hires.
Well, actually, I should have mentioned in agenda review, we don't have any this month, so
Oh, okay.
that's.
Well,
not-
that makes it easy.
That makes it easy. We will next time.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of step in for a second.
Yes, please.
You're doing great.
Mr. Chair, take
I
over.
was like enjoying this, sitting back, you know, doing a good job. I would say that, man. That's why you're next to like Schoolboard. So Peter had asked to put H454 on the agenda just for like a quick little discussion. We actually have not met as a board since the bill passed. And I do believe Julie, she put a summary report in.
Right, this is from the Vermont School Board Association has one of these, and all our organizations have this 3-page summary. But I think it's, the school redistricting task force is important to look at. The class size minimums that are still in there is important to look at. We're easy peasy with all of those. The timelines at the end, I think, are important to look at, the foundation formula piece. But one of the things I think it's most important to look at is the redistricting task force, which is going to be starting August 1st, I think. I think I sent you all that
Yes.
okay. Honestly, I forget within 24 hours whether I sent the thing or not. I apologize. So it's busy in July. There's a pretty broad group of people that'll be sitting on that. But it's important to look at this. The new school districts are going to be drafting models between 4,000 and 8,000 students. They're going to be reporting by December 1st. They have to come up with 3 options, one of which will include SUs. They'll be voting on the full legislature will vote on those in January. But I think that number of 4,000 to 8,000 is important to look at. Our whole county is 8,400 kids, more or less. So that gives you an idea.
I had looked at some numbers, and if you took the schools in our district and the ones at Venusburg, Richford, Sheldon, Berkshire, Richfield, there were over 4,000 students.
Yeah, if you were to take MVSD, Maple Run, Franklin North, and Franklin West, it literally hits us right at the run. So
It's what?
it puts us at about 8,400 students if you combine basically the Franklin County. Basically like a Franklin County school district. Exactly.
Probably what one of the options will certainly look like. The SU conversation, Franklin, one of the things that I think it's important to think about is the grand list aspect. It's not just numbers of kids. So from a taxpayer perspective, combining 2 low tax grand list communities together is probably not going to get the bar of the tax capacity, but that's why they have to look at all of those factors together, and I'm glad I'm not on that committee. But there's a lot more than just numbers of kids that they're going to
So
do.
are you saying like you should have one with a higher tax rate or a low tax rate? Because that's like a more.
Well, not so much that, the tax capacity of the communities. So communities that have a lot of industry and a higher tax base
Okay.
that supports, rather than just putting, you know, fairly low tax capacity communities.
Okay.
I just always think of Fairfield. When Fairfield was on its own, they had like one store.
Right.
There was no rental property. Most of the farms were, you know, whatever that use exception is,
Current
right?
use.
Current use. See, that's the farmer, right? That current use. So they really were kind of on their own. Like that's an example of the kinds of things that they will be looking at, as well as voting districts, right? You can't break up a town, for example.
So sort of like I'm thinking about, like, at least with Franklin, we at least have Lake Carmine as a, you know, some tax capacity. That's not a lot, but it's better than some other towns.
So that's just the overview.
I imagine the superintendents in the area are going to be meeting and talking. Would it be advisable for some boards to get together in Franklin County, have some preliminary discussions?
You know, I don't know, Don, because I think the question is, what is going to be like our influence on this redistricting, right? I really think that's a question for our legislators to like reach out to them. I think once they decide how the task force is hearing from superintendents or boards, if there's opportunities for us, I think to communicate, you know, our needs, and that's something, you know, Debbie, I'm sure the VSBA is on top of, in terms of like how are we communicating and how can we shape the conversation. I think for us though, we now have a pretty clear idea that we now have 1 year, right? We have 1 year before some sort of a potential change. So as we kind of go into tonight, we weren't sure if we were going to have a bill, and so now we have one. The timeline says that we're voting on, correct me if I'm wrong, we have one more budget to vote on. And then
At least
True.
yeah,
So we
till
have
29.
Okay, so we have 2 budgets that us as a board, we can direct, you know, shape, sort of follow towards our goals. And then after that, there's a lot of unknown that we may or may not have control over. So I think that's just important to keep in mind that, you know, we do have a time frame in terms of what we're doing. The other thing I think to consider, which is going to be a discussion item for a following meeting, is the conversation around the alliance.
Yes.
Some of the direction that they are speaking. This has come up a few times, and I do believe that now that we have a bill, we've gotten some information from them. I do believe it's something that we need to revisit. There's been indication, so that will happen hopefully as a full board sometime in August. So, is everyone here during August? We have, I think, when are
The 12th is the first meeting,
the
the
12th?
second Tuesday in,
So I might be a little late because they scheduled the parent-player meeting for that night for fall sports.
What time is that?
6.
Oh,
And I like to at least see some of it.
Yeah.
Get information. I asked them to please consider not scheduling them during school.
Yeah, so so that would be an agenda item. Given with substantial time, I don't think we would have much else on the agenda to discuss how that rural alliance and some of the direction that they're discussing as we're involved in that now, how that potentially affects us, and have a really robust conversation about it. And then hopefully after that, whatever would come out of that, that would then just be what we are with. Because even since the vote that we had, there's been a lot of conversations about
their recommendation.
their recommendations, which I think we should discuss. I think we should have a whole meeting if needed to do so.
That's great.
Any agreement, any disagreement with that?
I think one thing we should not give up is our ability to talk with legislators. Even though right now Right now, it's in the court of the team. Excuse me, air conditioning instrument. I've already talked to some legislators that I've reached out to before, and now the bill's passed, they contacted me, and they encourage us to talk about legislators, because even though this bill passed, if you look at the dynamics and the political favors that were called in, this bill still has a long ways to go before it's going to be implemented. Because some of the people who voted for it have already voiced that they probably aren't going to support the next step when things change. So it'll be interesting to see. And the people who talk to me may not be as well as informed as they think they are, because you can be in the legislature and know a lot, but sometimes if you're not in those committees, you don't really know how they got there. So anyway, if you know a legislator, you see one, certainly voice your beliefs. I personally think that we're in great shape with our 3 towns working together, and I hate to see this get sucked into so many people that we really don't have a voice. We'll see, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it will be, and if they don't also figure out the districts, there's a caveat that wants this work.
There are many off-ramps.
So, it's sort of, we understand what we're dealing with now. We have
It's a good discussion that needs to happen.
So it's a meeting again, and give us some examples of
There are a bunch of stipulations, like if the districts aren't approved by the end of the session, I think that it nulls certain parts of it. If the foundation formula isn't agreed upon, that nulls parts of it. There are a lot of opportunities for the club to get involved.
And it's an election year, 26.
And it's what?
An election year, 2026.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are going to be looking at that. It doesn't affect my vote.
All right, okay, so I think that's good for that, and then, again, I assume just like last year, we're gonna be talking about the legislative piece and all the changes all year as developments come along. I just wanted to address Peter instead of having a discussion and getting a little recap. So, at this point, anything else before we close out the meeting?
So our next board is the 12th?
Right now, it would be planned for
August 12th.
Where is that?
Probably MVU unless the building's not ready for some reason.
Great.
And I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Okay. Peter?
Oh, move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned and we are in the retreat.
All right.